Hello, my name is Science Beard, and I've been looking at Peter Hitchens' weekly column in the Daily Mail to suss out the well-formed opinions based on rational, objective observations that Peter is thinking about at the moment. But because I was on holiday, I now have two columns to deal with, but spoiler alert, since he isn't creating new material, I will put in as much effort into doing episode 5 as he puts into writing his column. Peter Hitchens is known for his matter-of-fact, unemotional, straightforward assessment of facts. Only kidding. He kicks off his column of the 25th of July with the usual screeching of car tires a cartoon getaway driver displays who has just spotted a cop coming around the corner.
The government's dedicated efforts to destroy our economy and an entire way of life have moved up a step.
So, what is he talking about? Brexit, maybe? Or anti-terrorism legislation? Or the selling off of the NHS and the lowering of standards in the wake of a trade deal with the US?
Then, the futile decree went out from Downing Street that customers must wear muzzles.
No, it's face masks again. So out of all the things he could have picked on, all the things that will actually make a difference to people, he picks on that again. So it is still the same old, masks don't work, liberty curtailed, yes. See my video on why anti-maskers are the most ridiculously stupid people of the moment. Anything new?
Boris Johnson's decision to force us to wear face nappies will kill the British high street.
How did I miss this gem in the headline? Face nappies, very droll. But now I can't get it out of my head. Blah. Indeed, Peter, think of it as underwear for your incontinent face. Quite like nappies, it stops all those nasty fluids and solids from getting out. Here's a thought. Peter, do you go commando? Okay, I'm okay. So face masks will kill the high street. Okay, fine. As ever, Peter has his what I assume are fingers on the what I assume is the pulse of public life. The high street is dying, and it was face masks that did it. Although face masks weren't a thing in 2007 when Mary Portas, also known as the Queen of Shops, did a series on the faltering high streets of the UK. Although not explicitly the point of the program, it was all but obvious even then that the high street was not doing well. This should have been obvious when she was appointed a high street expert in 2013 by David Cameron, for whom she wrote a report. David Cameron praised her ideas, which almost certainly meant they weren't going to get funded or implemented. I know, cheap shot. However, claiming that face masks will kill the high street is like claiming I shot JFK. He then goes on to claim that distinguished experts of all kinds knew that all of this panic over coronavirus and advice over wearing face masks was rubbish and apparently ignored by the BBC and government. Funny. When looking for medical advice, I can't say that I'm particularly interested in what experts of all kinds have to say. I like my experts on medical stuff to be, well, medical experts. And yes, advice has changed, but we didn't know everything about the virus then, and we do know a lot more now.
Forcing passengers to don facial nappies has not led to more travelling by train or bus. Passenger numbers remain pitifully low.
So Peter thinks that wearing masks should lead to more people traveling? Masks only work in combination with social distancing and are usually beneficial in enclosed spaces like buses, the tube, and taxis. Does Peter want more people to travel? Why? A lot of people are discovering that you can be quite productive at home. Why would people, concerned or even afraid, as you seem to think, risk traveling where they can catch something which may not kill them, but still might, of course, but is a risk to their loved ones, if they don't have to? Why would people wearing face masks go to the high street now, when they can get stuff delivered to them, usually cheaper, and they're still working from home? Honestly, this is why I enjoy Peter's stuff so much. It's like listening to someone who hasn't grasped what has happened over the last 20 or so years. You know, Amazon, online shopping more broadly, the internet, part-time, working from home, Skype, Zoom, Teams, FaceTime, and who thinks that we should all still be using VCRs and cathode ray tube TVs, rotary phones? Somebody who would prefer to link pencils with audio cassettes to having to stream your music from the interwebs. Sorry for the last bit. If you are a young'un, you probably won't have understood all that. So what else, Peter?
In fact, Prime Minister Alexander Johnson Can we drop the matey Boris forever? He's not our mate.
He then goes on to lament how old jobs are disappearing and mystifyingly how Boris, let's call him that, he's our mate after all, has wrought destruction on the railways. Really? So before the current government, there wasn't a problem with the UK railway system being the most expensive and possibly one of the less reliable ones in the EU? See, this is what I mean. He's nostalgic for the good old days of Dr. Beeching and privatization of the railways because, reasons?
Find out about the working lives of those who toil in the vast computerized warehouses that so efficiently send you the goods you order with a click of your mouse.
And then again, sometimes Peter can be bothered to worry about people other than himself and his peers. Look, he's concerned that staff in warehouses are demeaned. Aww. Yes, they fare much worse than the valued shop assistants in shops, who, by the way, have a much higher risk of infection, which is kind of obvious. In fact, there appears to be a correlation between pay, or more specifically low pay, and risk of infection. I won't even mention his one-sentence acknowledgement of a bungled Brexit, or will I? Just to say that I don't think you couldn't bungle Brexit. Brexit is the bungle. There's no good Brexit. Although I will agree that there was no reason why this government didn't opt into the procurement of PPE or ventilators, or has opted out of the research efforts for a vaccine. The answer is, of course, exceptionalism, as it is in the USA. And this following bit is why I love Peter. He says that he imagines that the government is full of Oxbridge types, punting on the river. Yes, completely unlike himself, working class as Peter is. He then extols the virtues of church-going, and without irony states that
music is about as diverse and inclusive as it can get, as it comes from the ancient monastic cycle of prayer and song that once united the whole of Europe, but survives almost uniquely here.
Peter's never heard about the Eurovision Song Contest, has he? And diverse as it can be? Really, coming as it does from a single-point source of religion, as you are keen to point out? Apart from that being obviously untrue, there are services held online and you can listen to music on demand or even use a CD, and all without the risk of infecting other people. I shall see you in part 2, which now will become episode 6, unfortunately, because I've gone a little bit long on this one. So, see you next time.